Yeah, it's clickbait. Hello, I'm the otter called Mall Jam, collecting rocks in the streets and dungeon mastering in the sheets. Entendres and lampshading aside, what I want to talk about is still very much in the title. Magic in 5th edition, and its potential transition into a future 6th edition. This very much started as a response video to this guy. Go ahead and give it a watch first, but in short, he describes what the different magic systems are in 5th edition Forgotten Realms, and the lore of how they function. And a lot of it does come down to it's just the weave. Lore-wise, there's many options with arcane, divine, psionics, and how you access to use such magic, as is the case of the magic trio of wizards, sorcerers, and warlocks. Despite this, in the actual mechanics of the game, all spells function the same. You have spell slots, everyone is affected by anti-magic field, in the same way, and if that's the case, what really separates the different magic sources beyond flavor text? Why don't we see this more in our character builds? A lot of magic and related effects can really be summed up into 4 groups that I'll go into detail on later. But for mortal players, you will most commonly encounter your arcane, divine, and some flavor text for primal or nature magic. Also called the art, the weave allows practitioners to channel and influence to this magical web to cast their spells and alter reality. Your wizards, artificers, and sorcerers are found here. Blessings of divine gifts, also called the power, allows clerics and paladins to receive magical boons, bypassing the weave altogether. Finally are your forces of nature, the binds of the inner elemental planes to the fantastical Fey wilds that druids and the occasional ranger draw forth. You could lump in elemental magic here too, and encounter that issue with the weave and arcane magic crossovers again. Why doesn't anti-magic field suppress the fire magic of a being made of literal fire? I see an issue there, as well as with our 4th group, the psionics. So this is probably why it took so long to get any concrete psionics, and even now it still feels weird. You want to treat it differently, but with all other sources playing the same mechanically, you can't really add the mystic or psionics properly. Clerics and wizards, they have different sources, but we can have their spells interact easily with one another thanks to sharing the same system. But with psionics coming in so late, how can they interact? 5e wasn't designed to have multiple magic systems, which makes it difficult to design a psionic system that can interact with them in a balanced manner. Look at the old Unearthed Arcana for Mystic. And this is probably why the 2025 Unearthed Arcana turns them into spellcasters. It allows them to work and interact within the 5e rules. I never played with mystics or psionic abilities pre-5th edition, so all I can confidently say is with the design of 5e the way it is, this psionics solution is one that works. Time will tell if we see a proper edition, maybe a psionic supplement like every other edition of the game has done, to include the class in the system. Now, here's the opportunity 6th edition could have. Make those differences more meaningful. They may have finally settled on calling 5.5e what it truly was, but eventually there'll come a time when there will be a proper 6th edition. It won't be as popular as 5e. That version of the game was already as open to a general audience as D&D could be. So any rule design changes automatically is going to make it more niche. But that doesn't mean it will be bad by default, just different. Say what you will about 4th edition. but it was a different game that you could play separately. Its rules don't impact 3rd or 5th, just like how 6 changes won't change how we can play 5th. Hopefully. So, Hasbro, Wizards, D&D, 6th edition is your chance to lay down the groundwork of a new system. Make that change and have the different magic systems be different. And you can plan how they interact with one another from the start. Before, we had our 4 class archetypes: the fighter, the cleric, the rogue, and our wizard. Now, we could have our 4 base magics. How to expand on psionics beyond just psychic brain attacks. It's how they interpret their system and interact with it. What is monk if not a wisdom, soul, spirit interpretation of psionics? A focus on what your body can provide to perform feats of awe, the extraordinary. The barbarian uses rage, mental emotions to physically change and gain power. Sure, it's not just brain psychic attack, but viewing it like this mind, body, and soul trio gives us a strong basis to expand down the line. Give us a solid foundation for the 4th magic base. Just an idea at least. The arcane wizards, artificers, and sorcerers. The power, divine clerics and paladins. The will, psionic embodiments of mastering the mind, body, and spirit, like monks and our scion mystic class. And the song, primal forces of creation, power words, the pure construction from the positive plane, the pure destruction of the negative plane, and all the elemental planes in between. The nature magic of the song embodies harmony and discord. This is where our druid and bard can find a home, as well as elemental magic practitioners. And to round out our martial list, barbarians, fighters, rangers, and rogues who do use magic really depend on how their subclass gain their sources. Imagine a psionic barbarian. Or compare your Eldritch Knight to the Arcane Archer and again to the Psi Fighter. And our magical warlock, really their patron dictates their magical source, but I could still see an arcane response as valid. Packs of secret knowledge is still knowledge, even if it is knowledge that is not wished to be known. And with that, there's a pitch of an idea for 6th edition to create 4 systems right off the bat. You can still keep one list of spells, and each group just has a different means to access and or cast, how you prepare your spells, or how frequently you recover your spell slots. Now, to show I'm not a hack, and give this title justice, the infamous Spell Plague and other similar events have been the in-universe explanations for the transition of editions. And when they finally make the 6E move, why not cap off 5th edition with a grand final adventure? Please, Abro, this idea is free if you do it. This module is a chance to really give players that high-level play that's been begged for, to play the heroes bearing witness to the cataclysm of changing times, to interact with some of the most powerful beings in the realms. The goddess of magic Mystra, and a scheming villain who is finally ready to unleash a plan, waiting all these years to do so. Imagine, if you will, the worst of the worst villains. We've seen Vecna before, but Orcus. It is time for Orcus to play. We've seen Orcus kill Primus, so now is the latest scheme, to attain power and attempt destruction on a grand scale. Orcus intends to capture Mystra, take control of the weave, and use its connection to everything to snuff out life. Unlike Karsus, the immortal Orcus is more than capable to absorb Mistra's rule. Now you heroes, starting at level 15 let's say, and capping off at the almighty 20, must stop his cult, pick and choose which of the Sword Coast cities can even be saved, uncover his plans, find a Netherese MacGuffin to even the playing field, and end 5th edition with a climactic showdown with arguably one of the most powerful demons in history. Should you succeed, maybe Mistra can be freed and chooses to divide the weave to prevent such an apocalypse from being possible again, giving us our definitive split systems of 6th edition. Or maybe the fatigue and damage caused by Orcus forces this split as a required consequence to save Mistra. Or her death leads to this split and the rise of the next Mistra. However it ends, this finale could be the thank you send-off letter of 5th edition. Gives players a suitably epic level 20 adventure and a chance to experience in character the 6e transition. I think that's pretty neat. What started as inspiration to talk about the D&D magic system transitioned into this weird hypothetical. Let me know what you think, your thoughts on how the magic system has been. What would you want kept and changed in 6e? Thoughts on my take of the magic systems and how we should say goodbye to 5th edition. I want to give a big thanks to Behind the Tavern for really inspiring this commentary or response, what have you. I hope you enjoy and stick around for more. Give any suggestions or feedback on how to improve, what else I should talk about or cover. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you.